really, tonight's call is a recap of what both you and I saw in the this weekend, what our takeaway was. And if you'd like to start sharing what a little bit about what you saw from this weekend.
Well, here's what I'm going to lay out. And I really am excited to talk about this. It's been a long time since I've been excited, and with a good reason why it's been a while. But what I really wanted to get a handle on was who's running the show, who's in control, and who's doing what's the experience. And I can tell you this, capsulize it. We got some people running this company that really know what they're doing. They're not kids. They've all got scars, scrape marks. They got all kinds of war wounds. So they've been there, done that. Stuart Finger, Kevin Fernier, and David D'Arcangelo from the corporate side. These guys, this is pretty interesting. First of all, you have the owner of the company, one of a brother, but the managing operating owner partner is Stuart Finger. I won't do him justice, but I will tell you this, folks. He said to himself and to others, we're going to grow this big. I need to find somebody who knows how to grow this big. He says, I'm a field leader. I'm a networker. He's made a lot of money network marketing. He's owning the company. He knows how to build, but he says, I don't think I really know how to run a multinational outfit. And so that's where Michael came in a lot of different times. Michael's been there to kind of guide these guys along from his experiences. He said, well, let's talk to our old friend, or my old friend, Kevin Fernier, who ran Free Life for about 20 years into a multi-billion-dollar company until it was sold to Longevity, I believe. And I got a chance to meet Kevin, and we'll talk about Kevin in a minute. What a great guy. And then David D'Arcangelo, the director of marketing, but way more than that. So here's my take on Stuart, who I did sit and have dinner with at Stonebridge Country Club and other times. The man was 1,000% approachable. He says, I want to talk to you guys. I want to meet you guys. He says, we're going to get really, really big. And, this is, I don't know how often I'll be able to do that. I intend to be able to mingle with as many people in the field as I can. And he says, I want to come out and do meetings. That was really refreshing for me to hear that. And Stuart told a little bit about his history and his family and where he's come from, his humble beginnings. And the man's humble, and he's really great on who he is and how he presents himself. And he gives you he says, if I give you my word is gold. And if we're going to do it, we're going to do it. If we're not, we're not. But he says, I want to know what's going on. He says, if you guys have some ideas on marketing, let me hear them right away. He says, if it makes sense, we'll do it. If it doesn't make sense, I'll tell you why. So I think we got a guy that's committed to, and with passionately so, to the products that are changing or will change people's lives. He sees the big picture with the opportunity to take Mangosteen and become get this folks, the global player, known as the global player in all things Mangosteen, that will make a difference. Secondly, Kevin Fernier, and I'm going to defer some of this to Michael because he's known Kevin a long time, but Kevin is a highly educated, highly successful, big business owner who knows how to make decisions. He knows how to work with people, for people, to get the best out of people. He's not one of these kind of guys that manages with a hammer, because you get nothing out of managing with a hammer. And for the last maybe 4 years, there was a period of time when he became a certified life coach. I really like that. I've owned 4 or 5 businesses. You just can't hire people and just give them mandates on what to do. There's times you got to help people through some decision making and some thinking, and it's a little bit like life coaching. And being a golf instructor, there's a lot of life coaching that goes on with that. And then David D'Arcangelo, I don't know that much, but this guy's really into the game. But Michael, let's have you expand. You want to dust up a little bit of what I said about Stuart.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Sure.
And then
So-
let's get into Kevin.
So from a corporate standpoint, at this one event, and we're having many more, we're actually working on the next event tomorrow. Actually multiple events, multiple trips. There's a lot going on behind the scenes. So talking about the people behind it, and there were a lot of leaders in this industry, Charlie being one of them, an individual who's made millions, who's built organizations in the hundreds of thousands. There were dozens of leaders that really have had, as Charlie said, a lot of wounds in this industry, a lot of things that have happened due to ownership of companies. And let's just call it the way it is. Unfortunately, things can come in the way, from greed to egos to pride. There's a lot of things that have caused industries to rise and to fall. Okay, especially when there's money involved, when people are making a lot of money, when you're in it for the wrong reasons, when there's greed. I think I've known Stuart for a very long time. He's a very generous, kind-hearted, giving, loves to be around people, loves people. He wants to serve others. He's caring. You know, he started his own company because he was sick and tired of most people not making money. He was sick and tired of the gimmicks and gotchas. He was sick and tired of owners of companies letting people down, not keeping their word, being dishonest, being disloyal, terminating people, all the garbage that can come in the industry. And he wanted to say, you know something? He walked away from a big check. He walked away from a big organization to found a company. And he's really our ambassador. He's our founder. But Stuart is not, with all those amazing characteristics, we have been a boutique company. Boutique being, you know, this really nice, you know, smaller level company, really community, just wonderful. But the goal has always been, you know, to really help and serve as many people across the world, become international, have the best recognition, pay out the most money, have the most, you know, the absolute unique proprietary products, to do all those things. And what he recognized is you need an operator, you need a person out there. And it took years and years and years of really vetting Kevin as he evaluated the company, and he made a decision after multiple years of really saying no, to say, yep, I see the vision, I see the purpose, I see that they want to become a big company. And let me be very clear. He is the sole decision maker. Kevin Fournier is running this company. Stuart is a founder of the company. He is a distributor of the company, and Kevin is our president. He's running the company. I think what a lot of people walked away from when they saw Kevin speak and they heard Kevin and they got to know Kevin is that Kevin is a person you can trust. Kevin is a person who you're always going to get the truth from. Kevin's a person who has the ability. And not a lot of people in the world, you know, he has got the pedigree, he's got the experience, he knows what it takes to run $1 billion company. There's a lot that goes on, from shipping and product development, research and development, and corporate employees and backbones. And there are so many things that are there, and we are just so fortunate to have them. David is just spectacular. David is really our guy who's behind. It's great seeing Dr. T and David DiArcangelo connect in such a great way. David is not a scientist. David's not a nutritionist, but he is a research guy. He is our guy that's behind our products. He's the guy that digs in, works very closely with our doctors, all of our medical doctors, whether Dr. Robin Seeker, or Dr. Phillip, or Dr. Templeman, and all the new doctors that are going to be joining us. He works very closely to make sure that we're not playing around, that what we say is true, that if we're going to say something has this many times, you know, more potency or absorption, that these are factual things. And he's working in all the science to do that, which is great. And yes, we absolutely are going to be the number one, you know, xanthone, mangosteen, whatever you want to say in terms of that. But we also have a pipeline that we're going to be a wellness company too. So we're not going to lose track of where we are. We know that the mangosteen's there, but there is a pipeline of new products that are already in development that to become that $1 billion brand that this company is going to do. So we're going to have a nice we're not going to come off focus of where we are with twist and mist, but we have a technology and nano emotion. We have a technology in this whole liposomal nano emotion that's getting nutrients directly into your bloodstream, which is absolutely amazing. And then we had the incredible Evelyn, another when I say these are people who have built organizations in the millions, and she's leading our way from our training and our sales. She's helping with international expansion. She was incredible. She's absolutely awesome. My biggest takeaway myself was personally Dr. T. I was in awe. Not only is he a great medical doctor, not a person who just has a PhD and calls himself a doctor. He's an actual physician, talented, great communicator. He shared the story of how he just really gave our company a difficult time during the research of this product to say, hey, I want this for me to lock arms, for me to even be someone interested in this. He wanted to make sure that every single thing was checked off. If you're saying it has this absorption, show it. If you're saying it's the nano emotion, prove it. Send it out for this test, send it out for that test, continuously evolving and do things. And he's just a wonderful person. What I walked away with, God, if everyone could see him in the power of this mangosteen and what we've accomplished here was absolutely amazing. And the other thing that was a real big takeaway, Charlie, for me, and hopefully you felt the same way, and if you can comment on it, is that this is something we've been talking about. We've been talking about this as a company. There are people here who've been with the company for a few years, and there's people that are brand new. So I'm trying to communicate to both. CTFO had a nice run with CBD, and we were the pioneers in that CBD space. And we still have what I believe with our 10x Pure CBD-A, the acid formula. No one in the world, it's proprietary. No one else has it. The A is so much better than the CBD, but it's a fraction of where we're going to come as a company. And we had that quick rise. You know what I mean? And then you found, competitors came out with CBD. You found it everywhere's out there. What we're doing with our nano emotion is we have an extended period lane right now in terms of time frame, where other than maybe some pharmaceutical companies, no one is able to get nutrients into they might tout it or they might say it, but they can't prove it. They can use the word nano, or they can use any word that they want to do, but our technology is proven. There's, from the size to the absorption to the potency of what we're accomplishing, and the stories we're hearing, the testimonies that we saw and heard this weekend were absolutely incredible. Another takeaway, Charlie, were trips, incentive trips, doing things, recognition. We want to be known not only as having the best owner and the best compensation, and the best leaders and the best president, and all these great things. We want to be known as the company that recognizes our distributors, our customers, our leaders that are gaining the way. We're going to be doing many, many more events. Stay tuned for announcements over the next few weeks of a lot more. I was actually talking to Kali, talking about doing an event in Utah. I was talking to another great group, an awesome group, talking about doing an event in Orlando. We're talking about doing a huge incentive trip sometimes in the first quarter of January, first quarter of next year, like a massive trip, really big. So recognition is going to be huge, and that's a big part of who we are. So did you feel the same way of what, quoting Ted Wilson, who was incredible, gave the boutique to legacy? Did you get that sense too when you were there?
Yeah, I did, and I really liked meeting with Ted. He's also, we have something in common. He's got a son who's on the Canadian PGA Tour, so that kind of locked us up together.
Yeah.
So Ted was getting ready to launch his own network marketing company when the information came to him about CTFO, and he's really a dynamic leader.
Mm-hmm.
He's 53 years old. as I say, he's young enough to have a lot of gas in his tank. He's overflowing with gas in his tank.
Yeah.
And I just had to, I told Nancy, I said, well, I got to go fill the tank because I'm getting ready to do this. But Ted has a great way to communicate.
Yeah.
And he said, hey guys, five to thrive is a great way to think about starting, but 8 is great. And he was talking about when he gets his team going in Canada, he wants people to think about, line your sheet up with people you want to talk to, get 8 people within a day.
Yeah.
And I thought, interesting. I mean, that's big thinking.
Yeah.
And so there's the synergy of all of how we built in the past and how we think we want to be able to make this thing grow virally as fast as we possibly can. A lot of these people on this call know that my mentor was Bob Schmidt, who worked with Jim Rohn and a few others, and it doesn't get any better of understanding strategy and technologically how you want to strategize to build a team. And we're going to be doing that. I also wanted to bring this up, folks. If you all know me a little bit, I try to make this easier, not harder. I try to come up with tools that will make it real easy for you, any of you, me, to approach basically anybody about the topic that you want to talk about, and that is to present Xanthomist or maybe some other products, but the primary focus is going to be get you in the door with Xanthomist. So I am working on a postcard. Let's just call it another version of a magic wand, so that we can get in front of as many people as possible. Then I was laying there in bed, I think on Saturday night, my brain started to go. I went, wait a minute. How many women would like to make enough money so they could raise their kids at home? I call those mama bears. And then I thought, well, since COVID hit, there's a lot of dads that found out they could work from home or they could work from here. So I bet there's some papa bears that are out there. And then I thought, well, every senior citizen I know needs Xanthomist. So I don't know what we're going to call Grandpa Bear or Grandma Bear, but I'm coming up with some things that are going to make it cheerfully funny and exciting to have a nice conversation. And I had some talks with really liked Joe Gentle, who I think you sponsored. You've known him forever. Great energy, common sense. These are common sense leaders. They're not somebody that's, you got to have armed bodyguards around them to talk to them.
Charlie, real quickly, Charlie, I know you've been very successful in this industry. If you don't mind just sharing, because there's a lot of people on this call that are sidelined to you, that don't know who you are. I know it's difficult, but in less than 2 minutes, I just want people to know how big you built your Zango business. Real quickly, how many people what kind of income were you making? Let me just ask you just bullet point questions, how big of a group did you build in Zango, and what kind of income were you making?
Funny thing, I never counted people. When we got it really well going we got it going very well. Within 27 months, we were doing about $650,000 a month in volume with one product.
And that's just your team, right?
My team. Oh, just my team.
So just your team. Okay, so.
And we were making it because of the way that it paid out. 50% of that money from going down got paid out in commissions. Got
it. So let me so $650,000 of volume a month. And how many months did it take you to do that?
27
months. Okay. How would you compare what we have with Xanthomist to Zango right now?
Well, we will grow faster because we know what we're doing. We did that. We didn't have what we have now, but the payout, the CTFO payout. You and I've talked about this, and I've talked to Kali, and we've gone, am I seeing the ratio correctly, the percentage? I was, my checks were, we had quarterly checks. The checks would be between 50-some thousand and 30-some thousand. They would fluctuate because of the quarterlies, but we'd see about a 5%, 4.5% to 5.5%, 6% the best payout. What we're seeing is about a 12%. Some weeks it's a little higher. They pay weekly. the key thing here is to get qualified with with 5 to Thrive, so you can get max pay going for you.
Mm-hmm.
My income would be at least double,
Mm-hmm.
and I think more than that.
Mm-hmm.
And we do want to let you guys know, if you're going to get involved, like I used to say to Bob Schmidt, we'd say, what do I have to do to make the most amount of money?
Mm-hmm.
And guys, this compensation plan pays out double what I've seen anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because of the way that it has coding bonuses. They're not going to commission out and go broke, because the company takes half of the volume, the product that you purchase. They keep their half right off the top.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a way to, this whole thing's got a computer. It's matrix pay, it's level pay, it's a coded bonus pay. Michael tried to explain it to me the best he could. He did a good job. But guys, the reward is here if you do some work. And somebody posted, a lot of times we could say this, a lot of full-time networkers is about 3 hours a day.
Yeah. Hey, Charlie, we've got 7 minutes left, and I wanted to take this time because we've got such a great audience. I'm happy to answer some questions for everyone. I'll leave you with this note. It was to see the caliber of leadership at this event and the amount of leaders joining literally on a daily, weekly basis, and what's about to happen. This is incredible. The pipeline of new products that are coming are spectacular. What's in store is incredible. You're with a company you can trust, a company you can call home, a company that's a legacy. And it's nice to hear, even when you had Charlie come on and say, what was the big thing? Oh, there's Dr. Fred there.
I saw him pop in here.
Yeah. Let's boy.
He's probably the best recapper. By the way, hang on, Michael.
Yeah.
There's somebody else that's a longtime friend of Fred's and mine, and he's been saying hello to some people.
Yeah.
He's licensed in 22 countries to do surgery. He's now retired.
Yeah.
Oh, Ahmad's here.
Ahmad?
Yep.
Oh, but I can't. I mean, I'm talking to him, but he can't.
You are. So Dr. Ted, we've got a lot of people on, not just from Kali's team and Charlie's team. We also have a lot of people that are also sideline. I spoke to Kali in detail, and Kali's now, she said we can use her name, and she's another person who created massive amount of millions of dollars of business. She did over $1 billion in sales, so we can say her name, Kali. Yep. There's a variety of people here. So we're trying to cater to the new people who are new from Zangle, but there are also people who are not in Zangle, and there are other people who've been part of CTFO for a while. And I didn't know you were on, but I was in awe. And I'd like for you to talk to everyone about the business side, because not only are you an amazing medical doctor, not only a person who's the expert in my opinion in the mangosteen, you what do you see here? I mean, you really had a different perspective. Charlie, just hold on, because it's important. I'm trying to make sure that everyone that's on this call gets it. But if you wanted to share a little bit about that, that would be really important. And then, if you want to touch a little bit about Kevin, what you thought about Kevin, David, you shared those things with these people. I think you do a much better job than I did, and certainly, or could have done, because I'd love to get your perspective, both as a medical doctor, as someone who has seen a company go to $1 billion. You asked the hard questions, and I'd like to pass it over to you.
Well, for me, the meeting that we had, and you've been to the meetings that had happened previously, but I had never been there. And not too many companies at the present time, in my experience, are emphasizing face-to-face meetings. It used to be that we called this a belly-to-belly business. But there's always that particular way of doing business may not be the way most businesses are doing it today, but mean in any way that it's either inefficient or that it's ineffectual. It works. And the importance sort of, Charlie was talking about filling up the gas tank. Well, that's when you go to these events, you get to meet people who inspire you. I was absolutely impressed with finally being able to meet and press the flesh, shake hands with the people that I talked to only electronically. D'Arcangelo, for example, I talk with David virtually every other day, maybe 4 or 5 times a week. And I did not know what a physical specimen he was at his age.
Yeah.
Ripped.
Yeah.
And what does that add to my impression of David D'Arcangelo? I was impressed before I was able to see that, but it told me that he walked the talk. He looks after his health. He takes the time. He probably listens to diet and is up on diet and exercise. He does the right stuff. And when I saw you, and I wonder, I thought you'd done it on purpose. I thought you had put on the pants that you had when you had a waistline up in the 50s. But I don't think you did it on purpose, because it wasn't until we pointed out that you showed me. But you could have done the old trick of pulling your pants out and showing foot of material that was, and that tells me as well that you understand the deeper principles of health.
Correct.
Losing weight is about as hard as changing your hair color with your mind. It is not easy to do, and it proves a lot when you can do it. It means that you can do hard things, and that you can do them for a long time, and that you understand that a benefit down the road for some extra effort today is the way you succeed in life, whether we're talking business or whether we're talking health. So I'm very impressed. As you mentioned, the talent level of those people that were there. We had the Cohens, and I've known them for 20 years now. And they are the healthiest elderly couple that I have seen in years. He still works an 8-hour day.
Wow.
It's really amazing. The life quality that people who pay attention not only to diet and health, but also who supplement with wisdom was remarkable. And the mangosteens effects were there in the flesh, walking up and down the halls, because it's remarkable fruit. It has within it the elements that the body will attribute and put to wherever they are required in whatever organ system that you have a problem with. It's really remarkable. Like I said it before, I replaced a lot of drugs with.
Can you share that real quickly, Dr. T? Can you share your story you shared there with your blood pressure?
Yeah, let me give you, with my blood pressure.
Your personal testimony.
Okay, I don't know yet if it's the spray that's doing it, okay? I'm still investigating. But I had been on blood pressure medications, up to 4 of them, and I tolerate medications poorly, as did, unfortunately, many of my patients. But I'd been on 4 blood pressure medications for over 25 years. And I was on the treadmill in the gym, which I normally do an hour each time I go to the gym on the treadmill. And I started feeling lightheaded and really tired. And I thought, what the heck is going on? And I thought that I had a problem with my blood sugar, which has happened to me before. So I rushed home, took checked my blood sugar, and it was perfectly fine. I thought, what the heck is this? So I went and did some of what are called the vitals, the basics, and blood pressure is one of those. So I took my little wrist cuff and I looked at my blood pressure, and it was in my shoes. It was 102/57. Now, I don't ever recall being awake and getting a blood pressure like that. Normally, I would run about 130, 135 to 37, maybe 40, 42, above 80 or 85. And my blood pressure was down. I stopped my medications and my blood pressure stayed down. So I started searching. Matter of fact, I made an appointment with my family doctor, went in to say, can you explain what's happening, Michael? And he examined me and said, no, I don't know what's wrong. So he sent me to a specialist in Salt Lake City who is an endocrine specialist. And we were wondering whether maybe I had a problem with my adrenals or something like that, because that's in the mix. And when I got a clean bill of health, I went home. And then it hit me 3 weeks into this. It's probably the mangosteen. And that wouldn't have been unusual, because many people, in my experience with using the mangosteen, did have blood pressure effect from it. Now, I had used the mangosteen for all of the years that I was on blood pressure medication. And in the form that I was using it, which was an oral form at that time, it did not have that effect. And so what is striking about this preparation is that it's very different. It goes directly into your circulation, doesn't go through your gut. And that is obviously going to give us many of the same things that we saw from the mangosteen before, but it's also likely to show us different things. And I've been surprised listening to the testimonials of people who have had improved sleep. You never saw anything like that.
So, Doc, how can you? So you take a juice,
Right.
and hypothetically wasn't bringing down your blood pressure, and hypothetically the xanthan mist is a potential cause of your blood pressure to come down.
Probably the most likely cause.
Most likely. Why though? Why is it? Because of the absorption, the potency, the delivery? Is it getting into the bloodstream?
You know what? We're never going to be able to answer that.
Okay.
What we do know from animal studies is that alpha mangosteen, which is the major thing that you can find in the mangosteen preparations that doesn't exist, the xanthan, they do not exist in other supplements. And the alpha mangosteen in animal studies is a vasodilator. And most of the medications that are used to control hypertension are vasodilators. In other words, you make the pipes bigger and the pressure drops. And that's the likely effect. But will we ever know it? Not likely. Do we know it? No, not really. How can we test it out? Take it. If you've got pressure, and watch what happens. Now, you may be one of the people who doesn't benefit, because everybody's body is different. Remember, this is not like a drug. A drug is made to go into your body and mess around with a single enzymatic reaction. We don't have silver bullets like that. Every drug has side effects. But we're not making, it's not a chemist or a pharmacist or a doctor who is determining what's going to happen in your body. It's your body. All you is raw material in a very, very variable form to your body and saying, hey, what do you want to do with this? And it will do different things in different people. That's why I'm able to take away, for example, I dislike anti-inflammatories. And these are things like aspirin and not Tylenol, but aspirin and things that are used to control fever, pain that is due to inflammation, anti-inflammatories. And it's a large class of drugs. A lot of them are across the counter now. And but they were mostly at the early time when I was using them, they were mostly prescription. And I didn't like that category of drugs because it had complications with the liver that were deadly. It had complications, a long-term use with the kidneys. There was I'm trying to remember the Miami basketball player who sued the gym because they used to have the pills in the room. He didn't sue the gym, he sued the team. They used to have the pills that people could take, the anti-inflammatories, and he lost his kidneys.
Wow.
And sued. So the side effects were awful. They caused problems. Some of the side effects to the anti-inflammatories are even deadly. They increase the rate of heart attacks. So when I thought, son of a gun, here's something that I can give my patients that will take away their inflammation pain, and it hasn't got any side effects, I'm thrilled. And it was like that with the other drugs that I chose to eliminate. Some drugs that I used to use for asthma in children all of the time, for moderate asthma, never used it again.
Hmm.
You use this. And it had a very favorable anti-inflammatory and in this case, bronchodilating effect in the kid. So yeah, the mangosteen is a remarkable fruit. Never been available in the preparation that the company now is putting out there. So it's a learning curve. We're gonna see what it's gonna do. And I would very much, if anybody listening tonight knows someone who is trying the product and who is a customer, not a networker, because that brings in a bias. And
Sure.
someone who hasn't used mangosteen before and love it already, because that's also a bias. So I'm looking for raw data from neophytes, people who are neither motivated by the fact that they want to be a networker or that they want to use the mangosteen because it's helped them in the past. That's the kind of data that I need to see. And that's the stuff that is really going to allow me to make decisions and recommendations to the company about how best to use what is already a remarkable product.
Mm. Great. I know we went a little over here and I
We're good.
apologize.
No, we're good. We're good.
Does anyone have any questions at all or make a comment on there? They can do that. I don't know if you want to raise your hand. I did say that before that we would.
Yeah.
I didn't want to, and thank you so much, Dr. T. It was truly an honor meeting you. I don't know if you heard what I always have a takeaway from an event, and for me it was you. You know, I kind of followed you around wherever you were. I don't know if you noticed that. I was always gravitating to you. I was asking a lot of the hard questions to you that I felt were important. You know what I mean? About the product, about, you know, years of experience. You saw, you know, you saw a company go to $1 billion of sales with theirs. And, you know, you asked the good questions. Can you handle the growth? You know, what are you going to do with the growth? You know what I mean? Do you guys realize? And I think for a lot of people, for the existing CTFO members who've been there, who came in before Xantho Mist, they don't realize what's about to happen. You two gentlemen, you're shaking your head, Charlie. You've seen it happen. You've seen what happens with a product like this. And if we're not making a claim, but if you're taking a product that has a higher potency, better absorption, you know what I mean, gets directly into your bloodstream, you know, where other products might have sugar, maybe have a very small absorption rate, it still had great effects, right? That's, you know, there's products out there in the world that in the mangosteen, whether pills or powders or juices, that have a very small absorption, specifically of the xanthones, very small absorption to get it through your system. Potency has other things other than the mangosteen in there, including sugar. And then you can take this product, and I know you put David. I love how you gave the explanation, Doc, but you gave everything. I mean, you vetted, you know, I want to see this, I want to see that, I want to run this test. I know you're even having more tests done. And David's like, whatever it's an open, whatever you want, we'll make sure that, you know, you always will get the truth. And we're going to do everything out there that we can stand in the court of law. If we're going to say this is factual of what we're doing over here and what we've developed. And you know, funny thing is, Dr. T, is years ago, you consulted with companies and you told those companies, you said, you better get a hold of Nano Emotion because, or Nano, if you don't start doing these things, could
2007.
Yep.
Made a presentation to the company and stop shipping water and glass around the world.
Wow.
And they weren't ready for it. And I understand their reasons.
Yeah.
And were not really all
and
that.
That water and glass was helping people, or you wouldn't have been behind it. But water and glass was helping people. But now imagine to take it to different levels at half the price and a lot less, which is unbelievable. You know, Ted gave a great example in his training, and I can't do it the way he does it, but he kind of gives the example of pills and powders and juices and patches and all that stuff. He says it's like the days of AOL getting online, and he makes that great noise that I can't repeat the way they
dial up internet.
Yeah, the dial-up internet that Ted does. I gotta learn it because it's so great. And then he talks about like that's what most companies or all companies really in the wellness field are doing right now. We're years ahead with this liposomal nano-emulsion technology that's proprietary, right? That's taking it to such a fast stream, and how you're getting nutrients there. And the pipeline is incredible. The timing's great, and it's
Michael,
awesome.
Hang on a second. The best to describe it, think of absorption. Dr. T was trying to explain this. He says pills and other stuff going through the gut, 5 to 8, 10% most. That's the old dial-up. Now what we have, we can't say that this is 100% absorption because we don't know, but it's fair to say that this is 90% plus absorption because it's going directly into the bloodstream. And so I really liked it how Fred says, hey, think dial-up, 5%, think xanthomist, 90+% right away in the bloodstream.
Well, I was 10. I wasn't that smart to be able to do it. Yeah.
You know, I need to piggyback what Fred's experience. I talked this about this one other time. My wife, Nancy, 45 plus years on Diovan for high blood pressure, been drinking a juice for all these years. It kept it modulated right there at 140 something over 80 something for years. 3 months on Xanthomist, but she went in to see her doc for a checkup, and her blood pressure was 117 over 72.
Yeah. Now, we'll never be able to explain what the body's doing because we still can't clearly understand what the body does to cause high blood pressure. What we have to be careful about is that we don't publicly or even privately start saying this is a treatment for blood pressure, because it is not approved as that, and we could not prove that it was that. But I encourage people to do an experiment of one. That's what they call it when you've got one person you're checking on. You do it, experiment, find out what changes. First of all, make a list of your complaints so you know what you're looking to see. And then start to use it regularly, properly, titrate up a little bit if you're not getting what you need as a result. And then find out what you're doing in 2 weeks. And I'm going to be surprised that the mangosteen is not used by your body for some beneficial effect that you will be able to tell. That's I don't feel out of place saying that most people are going to notice a difference. I can't prove that, but I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm looking here real quickly. I'm seeing if there's any questions. And the European warehouse started shipping Xanthomist yesterday.
That's great. I called last night from somebody in Holland who said, it's been 6 weeks that we've ordered it and we don't have.
Yeah. Shipping yesterday. I think it was in custom. I think what happened is before it got to the Netherlands office, so there's a warehouse in the Netherlands, but it had to go through customs first. And we can't control customs. So it's gone through customs and it started shipping yesterday, which is great, great news. And let's see, Sharon and Jack, missed you in Dallas. Let's see, the question over here is, missed in Dallas, yes, going to come to Orlando, absolutely, stay tuned for that. We're going to have tons of events. Talk about blood thinners and mangosteen or xanthomist, Dr. Templeman.
Now, if you're being treated by a doctor for anything, okay, so you've got some kind of health concern, probably chronic, because that's the majority of what takes us to a doctor, unless you're suturing up a cut. And you're going to try and use this so that your body can rectify whatever is out of whack. You should consult your doctor if you're using medications that can be a problem all by themselves. And that's most medications. Now, you consult your doctor and you get his opinion or her opinion, and then you make up your mind what you want to do. But you do need to consult, because you're paying them and they know the body fairly well. So they're worth talking to as a consultant. But what they're going to do is give you an opinion. And if it's a scary opinion, then you do your own research and decide what you're going to do. But do talk to your doctor, and don't be afraid to talk to them about it, because if they say, well, there's no evidence, I'll tell you where to go and look.
Yeah.
By the way,
I'm reading a testimony here I'll publicly read it. This is a private call, but Dr. pronounce that? Tula, is that correctly?
Dr. Tutla,
Yeah. Two
You
of
got-
my,
you've gotta meet Dr. Tutla.
I can't wait to meet
Or
him.
where he's going to be at a meeting. The man is a miracle.
I love it.
He's a surgeon,
Okay.
and he is operating well into his 80s. And
Wow.
working
So
on
this surgeon wrote, two of my patients had macular degeneration and losing vision. I put them on polyphenols. In 3 months, their vision's recovered 200%. Avoided steroids injections into their retina.
Yep.
What the polyphenols? Can you talk about it?
is
Polyphenols.
that encases all of the things that we call botanicals. In other words, plant remedies.
Okay.
And the active ingredients in them are polyphenols. In fact, if you look at the xanthones, they fall under that rubric as well.
Got it. Got it.
So
Good.
Michael, let me just give you a little bit of the other Dr. T, Dr. Tutla. He specialized in colon and liver cancer up in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. And without going into any, I'm gonna let you connect the dots. There was a certain product that helped a lot of his patients. It came in a bottle, you drank it, and it helped with many, many aspects of the diseases that they were trying to sort out. Glad to see him. I was going to give him a call to see how he's doing. He's 80. He might be. I don't know. He's old, but he's going on about 55.
I think
One
he's
of those- and Fred and I talked about this real quick, ladies and gentlemen. We have been around this now for 20 years. We are now seeing the effects, and he alluded to this a little bit here, Michael. We are now seeing people that we've known for years and years, we've known them, but we didn't see each other for a period of time. It's like time is almost standing still for those that have been taking these type of supplements. Yeah, we're aging, but we're not aging 12 months and 12 months and 12 months. We're aging, let's call it aging 8 months and 12 months, something like that.
Dr. Tutla, 90 years old.
God bless him. God bless him. Hey, I do want to say one of the topics this weekend is, attracting. Obviously, we love our older generation. We love our culture we have, but in our journey to become that legacy company, we want to attract everyone. We want to attract the younger generation. We want to have products that attract the younger generation. We want to get, we want to become, the whole digital marketing, social influencing, TikTok, that whole concept. And you're going to see a lot of more Generation Z, I think it's called, not just recognition and awards and travel and events and growth and international expansion and all these great things, but there's going to be a very, very, very large focus, a huge focus on the younger generation too. And stay tuned for that. There's a lot that's happening there. So some people might be on tonight and looking at us and seeing that. Let's see.
Yeah,
Question here.
Interesting thing about your diet, which is mangosteen, because putting that diet is giving your body what you need, but it works for prevention.
Yeah.
Keep you healthy. It actually will allow your body to be in a state that when the disease forces of either lifestyle or possible infections hit, you're better prepared because it's on board and your body knows what to do with it.
That's awesome. Question over here. Is there any merit in promoting saturation dosages of xanthomyces, for example, 8 sprays per day for certain ailments? For example, someone who suffers from extreme discomfort, is there any merit to doing additional sprays in a day?
I am not to the point yet where I can make firm recommendations because I'm still collecting data, which could be many months to get enough of the right kind of data. But as a general principle, when you're looking at something that the body is going to use, there's going to be a half-life to it. And for most botanicals, that half-life is going to be that after you've taken 4 doses, you've now got a steady state. It's going to go up if you take more. And so if you've got some serious condition that a doctor is treating you for, to my knowledge, I don't think that the most people who are going to take this will have any problems with larger doses. And is that worth doing? As a principle, yes.
Good. All right, guys, I know we went really late. I want to thank you, Charlie, for putting this on. Dr. T, thank you for coming on. Thank you, Kali, for allowing us to open this up. It was very last minute. I was talking to her. She was jumping on a plane. I'm like, hey, I'm sure a lot of people like to hear the recap. So it was a little bit late on letting a lot of people know, and appreciate everyone.
Michael, we've lost nobody that's fallen off in the participants. So I think we've done a pretty good job. And again, here's a quickie. A man who has 10 children is the greatest truth detector on the planet. Yeah. And so Dr. T he knew all the right questions, and he's still asking questions.
Yeah.
If you want a home, you got a home. We feel that we have a home for the rest of our journey on the planet in life and in business.
Love it.
And so I'm really excited about this. Have a great night, everybody.
Okay,
if you have some suggestions, database your results on the product, and let's help Dr. T be able to build his database of how should we use this new product.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.